Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. I am Judith TV. These are the top stories at this hour. The police warn against unorganized palliative distribution following stampede in FCT and Anambra. Ivory Coast opposition leader demands electoral roll revision. Jihadist attacks leave 20 dead in 6 Malian villages. Details shortly. And let's begin in the nation's capital, where a tragic incident which occurred in the early hours of Saturday morning in the Maitama area of Abuja has claimed 10 lives, leaving 8 other persons injured. The incident, which started as a palliative handout for the elderly and less privileged, degenerated into a stampede which claimed the lives of several elderly and young. Our correspondent Joshua Marai visited the scene and filed this report. Take a look.
Behind me here is the Holy Trinity Catholic Church here in Maitama, Abuja, where it all went down. What was supposed to be a charitable event ended up disastrous, with 10 people losing their life and 8 people being nursed currently in the hospital.
Remnants of the palliative food items which were meant to be distributed to the less privileged and elderly at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja. Untouched and now wasted, they tell a story of another tragedy that will linger in the minds of many in the capital. According to eyewitnesses, the stampede occurred in the early hours of the day, even before the proper distribution of the food items could begin.
It's in the morning because of hungry. Not to want to enter inside this place. They never recall people to enter because of hungry. As not to be enter, few people rush. They begin mash themselves. As now mash themselves. Yeah. Even young we get big belly, pregnant women, young one die.
We decided to visit one of the hospitals in the area where the victims of the stampede were taken to for treatment. Upon arrival, we were informed that we could not see the victims, but had the opportunity to speak with the mandate secretary in charge of women and children of the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
My understanding is that there were 10 casualties, 8 of which were adults, 2 children, sadly. There are 2 survivors, children, who I just came to visit, Helena and Gabriel. And I'm happy to state that what was the crisis situation in the ICU has been managed. In the emergency ward has been managed, and they're doing well.
To prevent incidents like this, the Nigerian Police Force Headquarters has advised citizens planning to host public events to ensure adequate security arrangements are made in advance to avoid similar occurrences. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imadai.
In the meantime, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed condolences to the victims of the stampede that occurred during a food distribution event at Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Maitama, Abuja, on Saturday. In a statement released by his senior special assistant on public communications and new media, Larry Olayinka, Wike directed government hospitals, to provide free medical care to those injured in the tragic incident which claimed 10 lives. The minister mandated that police permission must now be obtained for any public distribution of palliatives, whether food items or cash, to prevent a recurrence of such incidents. He described the loss of lives as painful and assured that those injured would receive proper medical attention. Wike also commended the police and other security agencies for their swift intervention, emphasizing their prompt response to the situation. He also offered prayers for the repose of the deceased and strength for their families to endure the loss. In a related development, at least 27 people were feared dead following a stampede in Okija, Ihiala, local government area of Anambra State. The tragic incident occurred during a Christmas rice distribution event organized by a local foundation to aid the less privileged. It was gathered that victims were mostly women and children who were gathered at the gate, struggling to gain entrance amid a very large and uncontrollable crowd. Several injured victims were rushed to the local hospital, while the bodies of the deceased were taken to the morgue. The annual charity event, spearheaded by philanthropist and chieftain of the All Progressives Grand Congress, or rather, take that again, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Apga Ernest Obiajizi, also known as Obi Jackson, turned deadly due to the overwhelming crowd. Meanwhile, Anambra State police operatives have taken over the scene in Okija for proper investigation. Still on the harrowing stampedes, President Bola Tinubu has cancelled all of his official engagements in Lagos, including his planned attendance at the 2024 Lagos Boat Regatta to honor the victims of the tragic stampedes in Abuja and Okija, Anambra State. The twin tragedies claimed several lives and left many injured, prompting the president to forego the regatta, which he was set to watch from the waterfront of his Queen's Drive residence in Ikoyi. In a statement issued on Saturday by Bayo Nanuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy, it was revealed that dignitaries, including top Lagos state officials and white-cap chiefs, were already in attendance when the president decided to cancel his appearance after being briefed on the incidents. In the meantime, the Nigerian police has warned groups and individuals planning to organize fun fairs or distribute palliatives without involving security agencies, saying that any negligence resulting to the death of victims will be treated as a criminal offense. This followed two recorded incidences recorded in Abuja's capital, Abuja, as well as Nigeria's capital, Abuja, as well as the Ihiala local government area in Anambra State, which tragically resulted into the loss of 13 persons, including children, during the distribution of palliatives. The force public relations officer expressed concerns over the unfortunate incidents, saying that unorganized distributions of palliatives and fun fairs pose a significant threat to public safety.
In light of this development, the IGP has called on government officials, community leaders, and non-governmental organizations to work collaboratively towards establishing a comprehensive and organized framework for distributing palliatives. The IGP has hereby warned groups and organizers of similar events to ensure the involvement of security agencies, particularly the Nigerian Police Force, as negligence on their part is criminal and would not be overlooked, as provided for in Section 196 of the Penal Code and Section 344 of the Criminal Code laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And now joining us, our News Central correspondent Igbalani Omoni is joining us from Ibadan, Oyo State, to give us an update on the latest with the stampede incident from earlier this week. Ni, many thanks for doing this. We'd also appreciate you for joining on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Let's just, talk about basically what's the update so far in Ibadan? What's the mood like this Sunday afternoon?
Okay, so I'm right in front of Islamic High School, Basharu. This is the school where the event was set to happen. But let's start with the flyer here so that we know what exactly we're dealing with. Now, the flyer here just says Children Fun Fair, and I would like to bring our attention to this entry here, which says is free, and it is for ages 1 to 13, according to the information we got. This is the school, and I'm walking towards the gate right now, and from what I can see inside, the landmass is quite great. They were expecting about 5,000 people for the fun fair event. And with what I can see here, with the kind of land space and the structures in here, it can take quite more than that, or even double that space. Now, this is a citadel of learning, but over the days, in the past 2 days, it has become a place of, I wouldn't say tragedy for so many people, as 35 children have been confirmed dead and even 6 more injured, with so many that are not accounted for at the moment. According to the press release by the State Commissioner for Information, it says they've arrested the former wife of Ooni of Ife, Naomi Shilekwala, who's the owner of the foundation, the Women in Need for Guidance and Support, which is acronymed WINGS. They've arrested her. They've also arrested the principal of this school alongside many other people. Currently, the school is under lock and keys. As you can see, No single person is in there, according from our observation, and we can't even identify any security operatives here. However, I have an eyewitness here with me. Her name is Mrs. Omotola, and I would like. She sells just a little bit across the school here, and I'd like her to give her own eyewitness. Because of our own safety and the agreement we had is that she's going to be covering her face a little bit because of the tension and how sensitive this issue is for now. And I would just like to keep her name as Mrs. Omotola, but she sells around here, and I can confirm I've been to a shop around here, and she would like to just give her own account. Mommy, and she would like to speak in Yoruba. I will interpret as time goes on. What did you see? What happened? What do you know about this event?
Ní ìjọ́ Tuesday around 2 o'clock a kàn rí wípé àwọn èèyàn ṣáà ń wá sí ibi ìbà so wọ́n ṣáà pọ̀ tábàkàyà àwọn tó ń wá lásán ká sọ pé bí wọ́n bí 2,000 ṣá wọ́n ṣáà pọ̀ ní gbogbo bíi àwa gan tá a wà ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù aṣáà pé kí ló fẹ́ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ so ìgbà tó di bíi around 6:37 a rí mọ́tò jeep bóyá Oríyọmí àti Naomi jeep black àti mọ́tò Toyota product kan ṣá.
Ẹ jọ fún àwọn tó ń wò wá yẹn ta ló ń jẹ́ Oríyọmí ta lóríyọmí.
Man tó ní rédíò Àgídìgbò FM so wọ́n ṣàwọnú bí wọ́n ṣe wọlé tán sí gate àwọn èrò tí wọ́n dúró síta ta rí yẹn gbogbo wọn wọ inú bẹ̀ so kò pẹ́ mọ́tò tó wọlé yẹn jáde padà wọ́n lọ bẹ̀yìn gbà yẹn àwọn tó ń wọlé yẹn èrò tó wọlé àwọn another person tún ń dé náà wọ́n ṣàǹbara wọn ṣàpọ̀ síbi bíi káwa tó wọlé kúrò ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù ní nǹkan bíi 9 lálẹ́.
This was the day before the event, Rabi?
Yes, Tuesday. Okay. So Wednesday gangan náà fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan yẹn fún wọn. So ìgbà tó wá di Wednesday àárọ̀ àwa gan ti wò pé àwọn ọmọ wa máa wá sí ibi bẹ̀ láti wá ṣe kí n torí a ní ọmọ 8 years a dẹ̀ ní 10. So ìgbà tó wá di 6 o'clock táwa dé sí ṣọ́ọ̀bù pé káwa ọmọ máa bá rí èrò ti pọ̀ gbogbo títí ti kún so time yẹn Oríyọmí wa kọjá Àgídìgbò bó ṣe wá kọjá so àwọn èèyàn ṣáà pariwo máa yẹn wá padà lọ kò pẹ́ là ń gbọ́ lórí station tó ń pariwo pé àwọn ò ṣe pátí mọ́ pé àwọn èèyàn táwọn need ó ti tó wípé kí gbogbo èèyàn mọ àwọn tó ń bọ̀ kán máa padà sílé wọn ó ṣàwọn nurse bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ̀ ẹ̀yìn ìgbà èmi ṣàpá rédíò bọ̀ èrò yẹn ti wá pọ̀ wọ́n ti bo ṣọ́ọ̀bù ọ̀dọ̀ wa gan wọ́n ti wá síwájú ọ̀dọ̀ wa so kò pẹ́ lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn láṣàrí tí wọ́n lọ sí gate pé Oríyọmí ti dé èmi ò mọ̀ bóyá inú gate náà gbà wọlé or anywhere wọ́n ṣe sí gate àwọn àgbàlagbà èrò yẹn ti pọ̀ jù wọ́n ṣàn tẹ àwọn ọmọ mọ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ń sùn léra wọn lórí ṣẹ̀mọ̀ ìgbà tí wọ́n ráyè gbé ẹsẹ̀ ló jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa ṣubú léra wọn lórí so àwọn tó dó sí gbogbo ṣọ́ọ̀bù ọ̀dọ̀ wa gbogbo wa gan lé wọn ni pé ṣébì náà ní kẹwàá ni kí lè tẹ̀ pọ̀ tó báyìí bọ́ kán tó wọ́n ṣe ń dé àwọn èèyàn ṣáà fi mọ́tò wọ́n fi ń kó wọn wá.
Èrò mọ́tò wo ló fi ń kó àwọn èèyàn?
Wọ́n fi fẹ́ǹsà gbé wọn wá wọ́n lo Highlander oríṣiríṣi mọ́tò travel mọ́tò tó ń lọ sí Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ mọ́tò Ọ̀yọ́ mọ́tò Ìkirè gbogbo wọn dẹ́ Àpáta Ọmí gbogbo wọn lọ́ṣà ń wọ́ wa so aṣáájú pé kán máa lọ wọn máa lọ o gbà tó wá di pé wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ọmọ kú tí àwọn ọlọ́pàá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá dé tí wọ́n ń gbé ambulance gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ wá náà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá ń reduce tó fi di ìrọ̀lẹ́ ìjọ ẹ̀ fáyọ̀ àwọn èèyàn sì dúró síbi bí.
Ẹ ń sọ kankan nígbà yẹn pé àwọn míì wọ́n ń sọ ọmọ wọn wọlé ṣòótọ́ nìyẹn pé wọ́n sọ ọmọ wọn.
wọ́n gun fẹ́ǹsì àwọn kan gun fẹ́ǹsì àwọn tó ń gun fẹ́ǹsì yẹn ọkùnrin gun ó dúró sókè bóyá ọkọ wọn ni o wọ́n nà ọmọ sí wọn wọ́n sọ kalẹ̀ wọ́n fò fẹ́ǹsì wọlé dẹ̀ àwọn fẹ́ ṣe wípé tó máa ti dé lẹ́nu gate wípé àwọn máa fún wọn ní taálé láti máa fi wọnú ibi pàtí yẹn bọ́ wọn ò jẹ́ kàn ṣe èrò yẹn ti pọ̀ jù láìjọ́ tí mo ti délé àìgàn mi rí èrò tó máa ní wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe program gan ní church gan ọ̀ ní mosque gan èrò pọ̀ tó yẹn rí èrò yẹn ti pọ̀ jù gbogbo 3 lane títì wọ́n gba gbogbo ẹ̀ láti Báṣọ̀run ọjà títí tó fi débi Ànáṣí the same thing row kejì gan second line wọ́n tún gba gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́tò lè kọjá so gbogbo wàhálà yóò pọ̀ gan níjọ́ èmi gan tí mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó rẹ̀ mí níjọ́ ẹ̀ mo ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń wá òkè díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni.
I would like to quickly run an interpretation of Eshegoma of what she mentioned because I think I have another eyewitness who would like to speak maybe in English. What she mentioned that even a day before the event, which was a Tuesday, this place was already jam-packed with over 2,000 people already waiting here. In fact, they said some people slept here. I was trying to get her to say some of the things she said off air. She mentioned that Even some came with as old as months-old baby and tried to jump the fence and sleep inside this place when the gate was not open to them. And on Wednesday, as at 5 a.m. in the morning, this place was already filled up. Meanwhile, before the time, the chairman of Agidigbo FM had come here to try to open the gates for those people. He met on Tuesday to enter, so this place will be reduced. And on Wednesday, he went on his radio station to emphasize that people should go back to their homes because the numbers they have is already too much. And she also explained that people refuse to go back home, and some people were even trying to find a way to send their kids above the fence to the other side. I have another eyewitness here with me. Who would like to speak, and let me just hear our own thoughts. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon, sir.
Please, let's start with your name.
Orúkọ mi ni Omidan Ìyábọ̀sọ́lá.
Okay, ní ṣókí ẹ kò sọ nǹkan tẹ́ rí ṣókí.
Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni wípé ìjọba ló nídìí àtúnṣe sórí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó wá tàwárí wọn láti aago 3 òru láti oko ọ̀la ìṣẹ́ àti ebi ni. Ebi ń pa wọ́n gidi, kò sẹ́ni tó lè níṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àbí tẹ́bi ò pa tó lè máa wá ti sun ibi láti oko ọ̀la. Ọdẹ kó ọmọ dání ọlọ́mọ 4-5 kí ìrànlọ́wọ́ kó wà, kí ráìsì di 6,005 bag, kí gbogbo nǹkan wálẹ̀. Ó máa rọrùn. Ẹ̀kejì bó ṣe máa ń gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára yẹn family plan. Kí ìjọba máa bá wa gbé kiri, very very important. Ọmọ mi ò tí pọ̀ ọmọ 20 years, ó kọ́ ọmọ 4-5 dání. Kí ló fẹ́ fi bọ́ ọ? Kò sí kírú ẹ̀ má ṣẹlẹ̀, kò dẹ̀ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan ọmọ yẹn kú. 99% wọn tọ́mọ wọn kú kì í ṣe pé wọ́n kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn. Kì í ṣe bí àwọn tó wá sún ṣe nǹkan kan. Wọn kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn o. Ẹnìkan ní láti máa sọ fún èmi wípé àti bí 5 lòun ti gbọ́ news. Ipe káwọn máa wá, pé ṣùgbọ́n òun náà débẹ̀. Ẹni tí ọkàn ẹ̀ bá balẹ̀ kò ní dìde kó máa bọ̀ ńbẹ̀. Kò ní wá kò possible. Federal government ní kó wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kì í ṣe àwọn tó ṣe nǹkan kan. Kò níhùn wípé wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan kan but iṣẹ́ yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. Ọ̀fẹ́ dẹ̀ tún ni. But tí federal government bá wá nǹkan tí oúnjẹ bá wálẹ̀ gidi, ráìsì gangan láyé ń jẹ jù. Kí ráìsì yẹn dẹ̀ tí wọ́n ju 80,000 per bag, nobody wọn ò lè avoid ẹ̀. Family plan yẹn kọ́ dẹ̀ máa gbé kiri bó ṣe ń gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára nílé sílé. Kọ́ máa fún wọn because àwọn illiterate believe pé gbogbo nǹkan owó ni. 1,000 naira, they cannot avoid it. 500 naira láti fi ṣe anything tọ́jú ara wọn, they cannot avoid it. So kí federal government kọ́ máa wá ṣe, kí family plan kó ṣe. Ọmọ ti pọ̀ jù. Ẹlòmíì kọ ọmọ 5 tẹ́kùn ló bí fún rẹ̀ nú ara ẹ̀. Tẹ́ bá wo èjì ọmọ yẹn kò pé 25 years. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kí ìjọba kó ràn wá lọ́wọ́.
Just to quickly explain what she mentioned the importance of tackling the economic woes in Nigeria because it has become a big issue, and she's relating the incident here to hunger and some other things that have happened over the years. And she also emphasized family planning. She said she noticed young ladies, not even up to 20 years, bringing 4 to 5 kids to come here just to receive free gifts or whatever it is they want to share here. And she also emphasized that government needs to do more as regards making the economy and Nigeria as a whole a better and a safe place for people to live. Currently, we heard that the chairman of Agidigbo FM has been hospitalized. We're trying to confirm that. There's also some hospitals along the stretch that we heard that some of those kids were rushed to. We can't ascertain if the ones that were rushed there survived, but for now, what people are saying is that the cluster, the amount of people, in fact, they mentioned that some of these kids were dropped by people who they could observe that are people who are well-to-do, who are okay, dropped in vehicles like an Highlander, like a Venza, who they don't think they are suffering. But because of the fact that they say it is free, as I raised concern earlier on the banner, event is free, that was the kick-in. And, you know, as we said, this is not the only stampede we've had in 4 days, with records showing that we've had over 57 deaths so far in 4 days due to stampede across Nigeria. So it's a major concern that people are saying the federal government should look into. But for the Islamic high school currently is under lock and key. Right. No one is coming here. Where we can say, we can't tell now if academic activities are going to resume. But by January, of course, when resumption comes, we can be able to tell if academic activities will continue here or if any other thing will be done concerning what has been happening, what had happened. But for now, we know that some people have been arrested and investigation is ongoing. And the president has also waded in.
Right. Well, I mean, I must say thank you so much, Nee, for just for that insightful bringing out those eyewitnesses to also giving their own recount of what happened on that day. And it just seems to tally with all the other guests that we had earlier on Breakfast Extra, who also shared the same and said that people were there as early as 5 a.m. and even the day before waiting for the palliatives and the free money and free cash. Now we switch gears now to Abuja, where we have our correspondent Joshua Emarai on standby. Joshua, well done, and what's the latest with you?
Good afternoon, good morning to you. Good afternoon, rather, Judith. Based on what we hear so far, out of the 8 victims that were hospitalized as a result of the varying degrees of injury, 6 have been released so far, and they've been certified okay, but the 2 who are waiting behind, the FCT administration says that they are stepping in to take care of all the medical dues and the entire thing that was used to take care of them in the hospital. And they are stepping in. And for those who suffered varying degrees of injury, the FCT administration also say that several outreach programs have been done to them as we speak. So what we understand so far is that those who go to the hospital, they are getting better, and others who lost their lives, or people who lost their family members as a result of the entire situation, are still down and are still kind of into the entire situation that happened yesterday that led to 10 people dying at the Catholic Church there in Maitama.
Well, I mean, Joshua, were you able to speak to the people who organized the charity, and by those I mean the Holy Trinity Church, Catholic Church in Maitama, and what did they have to say? What was their reaction so far? And did you also speak with any eyewitness who was there during the event and saw how it unfolded?
Yeah, so after we got the hint of the event yesterday, we visited the place where it all happened, and we tried to speak to some of the policemen who were on ground, who we saw, and they directed us to some of the officials of the parish. We were trying to get cutaways and assess the entire situation, but we met a very, very strong resistance from one of the parish officials who immediately ordered us to leave or get our equipment broken. We understand that this situation have made tempers high, made some people emotional. We understand that, but still, it was a gross attempt to disenfranchise us from knowing what happened, and they ushered us out of the premises. But I was speaking to someone who was there, who saw a vulcanizer, who saw the entire thing transpire yesterday. He said as early as 4 a.m. Nigerians were outside the gate, besieging the premises of where the palliative distribution was supposed to happen. At a split second where a vehicle gained access into their premises, they all rushed to him, causing the stampede. He himself confessed that yes, he actually rescued some people, and for a fact that a pregnant woman who was heavily laden actually lost her life in the entire situation yesterday, and is just one of many. And based on what we heard from him also, he also said that 4 children out of the 10 people died were among those who died. 4 children were among those 10 people who died, and the rest are being rushed to the hospital. So that's what we heard, and that is what got us so far from where it all happened.
Well, Joshua, I must say thank you as well for just, again, doing the groundwork and giving us as much insight as you can. We definitely will come back to you during the course of today's programming. But once again, thank you. Joshua Emarai there, our correspondent in Abuja, just giving us an update on the stampede that happened at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja. We also did speak to Balaniyo Moniya, our correspondent, live in front of the Islamic High School in Ibadan, Oyo State, where the stampede occurred, with 35 children died and 6 others injured and in hospital. Away from that, a former Speaker of the 9th House of Representatives, Yakubu Dagara, has attributed the North's current state of backwardness to its leaders. He also urged Nigerians to support President Bola Tinubu in transforming the nation through the tax reform bills currently awaiting the endorsement of the National Assembly. Dogara spoke as a guest speaker at a town hall meeting for Christian leaders in northern Nigeria. Now, the former speaker lamented that Arewa political leaders mismanaged opportunities to lead Nigeria for over 40 years, leaving the region plagued with poverty and underdevelopment. According to Dogara's, Northerners should resist the temptation to blame President Tinubu for the North's current plight. You're watching news now on News Central Television. We go on a short break. When we return, we tell you about Nigerian government as they deny involvement in the Niger pipeline attack. We'll have all the details after the break. Join us again. Hey, welcome back. Parents and guardians in Nigeria of children with special needs have been tasked to shun hiding them from the public, showing this promotes discrimination against the children, which affects their development. Now, this was by a group in Benin City, the Edo State capital, during a special celebration for children with special needs in the southern state of Nigeria. The group also called on citizens to share love to the children in the spirit of the Christmas and New Year celebrations.
We want to intensify our activities in all the borders, exit, entrance into the Federal Capital Territory. We want to synergize with the neighboring states. We are concentrating on all the bushes around. The Nigerian Air Force are bringing in their helicopters to assist with surveillance of areas identified.
The Commissioner of Police in Plateau, Emmanuel Adeshina, has announced that over 200 personnel of the force, alongside with other resources, have been deployed to flashpoint areas within the state to maintain internal security during and after the Yuletide season. The Commissioner made this statement during a stakeholders engagement organized by the Plateau State Command of the Nigeria Police to ensure the safety of lives and property across the state. News Center's Chizoba Anyowe reports.
Christmas Eve of 2023 was dubbed Black Sunday in Plateau State after unknown gunmen unleashed terror on several local government areas, including Mangu, Bokos, Barkin-Ladi, Riom, and Bassa. The attacks claimed numerous lives, left many injured, and resulted in the destruction of unquantifiable property. To prevent a recurrence of such a nightmare, the State Commissioner of Police convened this engagement.
There's going to be total closure of all nightclubs in all these affected local governments. And there's going to be restriction equally of night grazing, please. Farming, especially in the night. Then miners who are going for mining, all were being banned within that period that I mentioned. All beer parlors are to be closed within 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Within that period, that is 23rd of December to 3rd of January. There is total ban on the use and the sale of knockouts throughout the command or throughout the state per se. And on this, we are calling all the good people of Plateau State to adhere strictly with the simple instruction to at least allow our Christian brethren to celebrate the Xmas in a peace manner, without any rancor.
The operation of motorcycles and tricycles remains banned on 25th and 26th December, as well as 1st January 2025 within Just North and Just South local government areas. Members of the public are urged to remain peaceful during and after the festive period.
Someone promises to start down this information to all our branches in the state. We will work with you diligently. If we have any reason, we will call you and report where we cannot intervene. But we want that whenever we bring a report, immediate action will be taken.
There was something that happened within Congo-Russia this week, where a member of this gang of was killed, and some of his members were they have the intention of retaliating, please, I want the security agencies to take proactive measures against this.
So many things going on in the communities that people would love to say, but unless they get that double assurance that when you say it, you are protected, people will still not talk. And the truth is that it is only when people begin to talk that truly you will know what is happening in the room.
With these measures in place, it is expected that other sister security agencies in the state will collaborate with the police to ensure a hitch-free Yuletide. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Aniwi.
In the meantime, the federal government of Nigeria has denied allegations by the Nigerian authorities of involvement in the December 13th attack on the Niger-Benin oil pipeline in Gaya, Dosso region, Niger Republic. In a statement, Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Kimiabi Ebiafa and refuted claims that Nigerian security forces collaborated with Lukarawa terrorist group in the incident. The government expressed condolences to Niger over the attack, but emphasized its commitment to combating terrorism and disassociating itself from such groups. Nigeria also dismissed allegations of French military presence in northern Nigeria aimed at destabilizing Niger, calling them baseless. Reaffirming its cordial relationships with both Niger and France, Nigeria underscored its dedication to peaceful and cooperative ties based on mutual respect and non-interference. Abia State House of Assembly says it is doing everything within its power to expedite actions on the 2025 appropriation bill brought before it by the Governor, Alex Oti. The Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, who doubles as the House Committee Chairman on Information, Austin Okezie, told journalists in Umuahia that the performance of the 2024 budget has inspired the legislature to work for the passage of the bill before the end of 2024. He also said the executive had done well in some critical sectors such as health, education, and infrastructure, adding that the environment that was done was to ensure that areas of need are not left unattended to. Governor Alex Oti recently presented the 2025 budget estimate of 752,282,200,000 naira only to the State House of Assembly.
The House Committee on Appropriation and that of Budget and Planning is a combined committee. They are actually busy going through the budget defense with the various MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. And so far, so good. And we have the mandate to make sure we go through and finish to enable the governor sign it into law on or before 31st December. This in line with, just to make sure the monies are budgeted or allocated to certain sectors are being properly utilized. And I stand firm to tell you that so far from what we have seen, we have to commend them. The performance for 2024 is commendable, hence the need for us to, put our feet on the ground to make sure this present budget appropriation bill that has been laid before us is given utmost attention.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. We're going to a short break, but when we return, Mali insecurity as jihadist attacks and left 20 dead in 6 villages. We'll have the details after the break. Join us again. And you're welcome back. At least 20 people were killed on Friday during attacks on villages in central Mali, a region plagued by jihadist violence. Local officials confirmed on Saturday that 6 villages in the Bandiagara region were targeted by jihadists who set the settlements ablaze during the assault. Mali has faced ongoing violence since 2012 with attacks from groups linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, as well as separatist movements and criminal gangs. Just last weekend, 7 people were killed in similar attacks in the central part of the country. In September, Jihadists escalated their offensive by attacking a police academy and storming a military airport in Bamako, first such attack in the capital since 2016. Now, following military coups in 2020 and 2021, Mali's leadership severed ties with former colonial power France, turning to Russia for support, and expelled the UN Stabilization Force. The country remains deeply entrenched in security and humanitarian crisis. And move away from Mali and now to Ivory Coast, as the opposition leader Tidjane Thiam has raised concerns over the low voter registration rate ahead of the country's presidential election scheduled for less than a year from now. Addressing supporters at a rally, Thiam criticized the low rate of registration on the electoral roll, describing it as a significant weakness in the nation's democratic process. He called for an urgent revision of the voter register to ensure a more inclusive and credible electoral process. Thiam's comments come as the country prepares for a pivotal election, with calls for transparency and broader participation intensifying. Away from now to the moderate earthquake measuring 5.3 on the Richter scale has struck western South Africa early Sunday morning, shaking multiple regions. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the tremor occurred at 2:51 a.m. and that's local time there, about 00:51 GMT, about 101 kilometers west of Branville, a small town in the northern Cape Province. Classified as moderate, the earthquake has the potential to cause minor damage to infrastructure. However, no official reports of casualties or property damage have been received so far. Now, local authorities are expected to conduct further assessments to evaluate the impact of the trauma. Now, residents in the affected areas are advised to remain vigilant. You're watching news now on News Central Television. Still ahead. Germany holds memorial for victims of terror. We have the details after the break. Join us again. And welcome back. Approximately 2,000 people gathered outside the cathedral in Magdeburg, Germany, to pay tribute to the victims of a devastating car ramming attack at a Christmas party. The attack claimed the lives of at least 5 people and left over 200 injured. The memorial service held inside the cathedral was broadcast on a large screen outside for the gathered crowd. Officials revealed that the suspect, a Saudi national, held strong anti-Islam views and expressed anger over Germany's migrant and asylum policies. Among the deceased was a 9-year-old child, while the injured numbering 205 were being treated in 15 regional hospitals. The incident has left the nation in mourning as investigations continue.
Es ist schockiert, traurig, fassungslos, dass sowas hier in Magdeburg passiert. Genau, vor allem Traurigkeit überwiegt, genau.
Ja, die Traurigkeit, dass unsere Welt so weit kommen muss, dass so etwas immer noch passiert, 2024, in einer Welt, wo eigentlich alles so schön sein kann, ja, und es ist eher Traurigkeit.
Also ich muss sagen, ich habe nicht damit gerechnet, dass so viele Menschen heute sich hier versammeln, weil ich schon vermutet habe, dass auch viele gerade auch Angst haben, was ja irgendwo auch verständlich ist. Aber umso schöner finde ich, dass man dem halt keinen Platz bietet und quasi ja, den Opfern gedenkt und sich dafür halt auch hier versammelt. Und, ja.
In Deutschland stehen, die deutsche Regierung weiß, was eigentlich zu tun ist und sie macht nichts. Das sind nicht meine Bemerkungen. Natürlich ist es meine Bemerkung, aber das kommt auch von der Seite der Polizei, von Sicherheitskräften. Es wird einfach nicht darauf eingegangen. Beste Beispiel, Nancy Faeser, unsere Innenministerin, wollte erst die Grenzen nie kontrollieren, jetzt kontrolliert sie. Ich bin über die Grenze gefahren, um das mal zu prüfen.
South Africa's power utility, Eskom, has raised alarm over escalating municipal debt, which surged 27% to 74.4 billion rand in the FY 2024, and further soared by 28% to 95.4 billion rand by November. Projections estimate this debt could reach 110 billion rand by March 2025, jeopardizing Eskom's financial stability. The utility firm is naming the municipalities and the debt owed by each of the municipality. The utility revealed that over half of the outstanding debt is owed by the top 10 defaulting municipalities, with Amalahini municipality leading the defaulters at 9.9 billion rand. Eskom warned that if no action is taken, its ability to continue operations could be at risk, highlighting the urgent need for intervention to address the ballooning debt crisis. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, revealed that diaspora remittances via international money transfer operators reached $4.22 billion between January and October 2024, marking a 61.1% increase from $2.62 billion in the same period in 2023. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso, addressing the Senate Committee on Banking, attributed the growth to enhanced remittance efficiency, President Bola Tinubu's policies, and rising trust among Nigerians abroad. Monthly remittances also grew from $336 million in September to $402 million in October. Cardoso expressed optimism that remittance inflows would continue to rise through year-end, reinforcing their role in national development and economic stability. We kickstart things with table tennis and sports, where Kwara State's Abdul Basat Abdul Fatai emerged victorious at the second the second Daniel Ford International Youth Table Tennis Competition Championship, defeating the defending champion Matthew Kuti of Lagos at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. Abdul Fatai, who lost last year's final to Kuti, staged a remarkable comeback after trailing 3-0, leveling the match at 3-3 before clinching the decisive 7th set 11-8 in a thrilling finale. In the women's category, Lagos Kabirat Ayola edged past compatriot Rabiu Aishat in a nail-biting 4-3 victory, also decided in the 7th set. The president of the African Table Tennis Federation, Eniton Oshodi, and Daniel Ford International CEO Yemi Edun praised the high standard of competition and the event's success, highlighting its role in promoting youth table tennis in Nigeria. And off to baseball, Ricky Henderson, Major League Baseball's all-time stolen base leader, has now died at age 65. His family has announced. Henderson, a Hall of Famer and 10-time All-Star, played 24 seasons for 9 teams, including 4 stints with the Oakland Athletics, where he won a World Series in 1989. He also claimed a championship with Toronto in 1993, known as the Man of Steel. Anderson holds MLB records for 1,406 career stolen bases, 2,295 runs scored, and 130 steals in a single season, and that's in 1982. His career included 3,055 hits, 297 home runs, and a .279 batting average. Widely respected for his impact on the game, He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2009. Henderson passed away following a brief illness. May he so rest in peace. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Police warn against unorganized palliative distribution following stampede in FCT and Anambra. Ivory Coast opposition leader demands electoral roll revision. And we also told you that the jihadist attacks have left 20 dead in 6 Malian villages. Now remember that you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422. We're on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Apple TV, or better yet, you can stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV. Bye for now.